Thank you, Roland Lebrun, followed by George Cramen, followed by Jeff Carter.
Hello again. At the August 1st, 2013 board meeting, I alerted the board that the FRA had testified at a federal hearing that CBOS could not possibly meet the December 2015 PDC implementation deadline, and that the deadline would be extended. At that time, the board had only authorized $90 million. And we had an incredible window of opportunity to redesign the single system as the ultimate foundation for a massive increase in Caltrain capacity. Fast forward 4 years, and here we today having the same conversation about the $2.5 billion electrification project that cannot possibly deliver the kind of congestion relief that the peninsula desperately needs, with another $500 million on top. Today is March the 2nd, one day after the deadline for MTP, and the board has the same opportunity as the predecessors had 4 years ago. So I'm asking you to terminate both electrification contracts effective immediately, because I'm sure that you don't want to see me back here 4 years from now having a $2.5 billion conversation similar to the $250 million conversation we will be having shortly before you adjourn to closed session later today. Thank you.
And we'll consider item 7C, Roland Lebrun.
Thank you, and I can't believe this is on consent, but let me just say briefly that the VTA published their 2016 annual report last October, so this is at least 5 months late. But what is more significant this time is that the auditors uncovered a deficiency in internal controls which they deem significant. Namely, it was noted that the JPB's cash balances were not fully reconciled for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2016. Upon further review, it was noted that several months out of the fiscal year were not reconciled. This led to a need for significant post-closing adjustments. These adjustments were attributed to the lack of a timely review, analysis, and reconciliation to supporting documentation and all subsidiary ledgers. In other instances, interagency balances were not reconciled on a timely basis. It basically means that Caltrain is basically messing around with the Caltrain books here. What happened here is inconsistent with Caltrain's inability to deliver any project on time and on budget, including something as simple as a downstairs lobby, or more recently CBOS or an FFG application nearly a year late is eventually rejected by the FDA. In closing, the board needs to be reminded that Caltrain do not have a functioning PeopleSoft system. After years of trying, and it is unclear how anyone could be expected to rely on an annual report that was compiled from a collection of spreadsheets. Thank you very much. Thank you. So first of all, I want to make it very clear that you will never ever qualify for this FFGA, for the very simple reason that to qualify, the FTA mandates that you increase seating capacity by a minimum of 10%. And you cannot possibly do that unless you come up with another $474 million, which is $440 million for rail cars, plus $34 million for platform netting. Now, I'm going to talk about just give you a brief update on the electrification multi-report, which is in your packets, which we're reading later. The PCB team advanced a conceptual design to consider alternatives or modification of CMOS. Okay, why? We need a new maintenance facility for the MUs, period. End of discussion. Why are we wasting money down Diridan? The first 8 months of tracks will be now available for testing 6 months late. So we're going to order rail cars and park them somewhere. And by the way, if you don't have another maintenance facility, where are we going to park them? We spent $140 million on electrification design so far and field investigations. That's including $10.5 million in the last month alone. We've also spent $118.5 million on the EMUs. The total so far is $159 million. Go out there. What do you see for $159 million? The MU design continues to continue, but also continue to refuse to disclose and address serious issues about the capacity of new trains. I wrote to the board at the June board meeting, and I actually wrote to MTC because I wasn't going anywhere with the board. If anybody disagrees with my numbers, then please come up with your own numbers and let's start the discussion. And the last comment is that the real estate, we so far spent $5.6 million and we have closed escrow on a single parcel. Thank you. This is going to be very quick. I don't know how many board members remember a suggestion I made, that was 5 years ago, was to decouple the EMUs from electrification. And you were probably wondering how that's possible. All the people in front of me basically were trying to say that to you, is to get EMUs which are electrification ready. Without electrification, if we'd done that, our ridership would be going to the roof right now, and nobody would be holding us to ransom. There wouldn't be any questions of blackmail. Thank you. And thanks again for your time today. For the grand finale, so first of all, I want to thank the board for restoring all the minutes back to 2008, because that's going to give institutional knowledge to the new board members. I would start with the October 6, 2011 minutes. And so you need to go and read that to really understand how we ever got into this mess here, and then start reading everything as a bossy boss. But the best, listen, I want you to listen carefully. The best advice I can give to the board is exactly the same I've given you for years. Reach out to Metrolink, ask them how they were able to meet the 2015 PTC deadline, 6 months before deadline. When you do, you will learn that Metrolink did this in partnership with Wabtec, who were the lowest bidder for C-Bus back in 2011. Not only that, their joint venture was with Parsons Transportation Group, PTG, the people we just fired. So, for breach of contract. And I advise you to read the brief that they've just filed, because that pretty much is the truth. This is what really happened here. So, we need to look at the status of C-Bus. If you look at status of C-Bus in the quarterly report to understand what happened here, which is item number 17, which is linked to that. And on page 11, you're going to discover that the cost of the so-called owner's team has ballooned from $50 million to $80 million. These are the people that you need to fire and sue for cause. Starting with Karen Engine and Dave Elliott of LTK Engineering, who are the same people responsible for the EMU specification issues. But most importantly, this is the solution. You have to engage Wabtec as soon as possible and ask them to work with PTG towards a solution that will meet the new federal deadline. I'll give you a contact in closing. There was a testimony at the federal hearing. His name is Mr. Russell Kerwin. He was a House Transportation Infrastructure Committee, June 24, 2015, who spoke highly of Parsons Transportation Group. Thank you.
Thank you.